You're listening to a DM podcast.
Welcome to Over the Back Fence. I'm Di Edwards.
I'm Nicola Dale, and we're buddies of nearly 4 decades. And yes, we actually do happen to share a back fence.
We do. We love parties, people, inspirational stories, and honestly, making the most out of life.
So join us as we open our hearts, share our stories, and hear from some of the most inspirational people in the world. And have a laugh along the way.
Yeah.
Enjoy! You know what? I'm so excited because it's Christmas in July time.
Yay!
And we're just sort of continuing on with our giveaway.
More prezzies!
Yeah, prezzies. Well, this is I'll tell you what, this is like the best present of all. Moa Blinds are giving a $5,000 giveaway. And, you know, so Di, it's like we were saying the blind leading the blind.
It is the blind leading the blind. And you know what? I know because I've just put a few blinds in my house with Moa. And honestly, I was like, God, you know, putting blinds in your house are not cheap. $5,000 is a lot of blinds.
Yep. And it's our
truly
giveaway.
is. Yeah.
So it's the over the back fence
And everyone's
giveaway.
going, okay, great. What have we got to do?
What we're going to do is we'd love to hear a story from you. You can DM us on Over the Back Fence, come to Instagram and send us a message and tell us a little story, you know, whether it's a kindness, somebody who might need some blinds or somebody who might need a gift. Tell us a story and then every week we'll sort of like go through them and month of July and we'll have the giveaway at the end of July.
Yep.
So
Yeah, and we
gotta
love
be
this
in it to
company.
win
We've
it.
used them more. In fact, Nick and I have known these guys for 20 to 30 odd years. So it's somebody you can trust
That's a
to have in the
huge
house.
thing.
That's
That's-
number one, actually, if you ask me. When
is.
I
People
get
coming in.
tradies, I always get referrals. That's just the way I work.
And they'll measure up and they'll
That's
put
the
it
way.
in. So got to be in to win it. Well, Di, wasn't that just last hour and a bit with Michelle just sort of mind-blowing?
I feel like I've been literally on a journey and reflecting on, reading a bloody great book or walking out of the theatre. I thought, what a great film.
I know, and they say truth is stranger than fiction. I mean, you wouldn't believe it. I mean, it has to be,
Yeah. So tune
movie.
in to either her podcast, I Spy, see her on Today's Show, Today Extra, and all. She's reading the news.
We've got Michelle back at the back fence, but this time you're
she's
taking
back at
over.
But here's the thing.
Here's the journey.
I think the listeners need to know more about you two.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, you know, it's all fine that you get to ask the questions, but I think maybe we need to put you in the hot seat.
Oh, why not?
Woohoo.
Yeah, and
Go
I
for
feel
it.
like I talked
My
so
seat's
much
feeling hot
last-
after interviewing you.
I know, everything's
I'll
hot.
be burning. My
Gee.
bottle will be burning.
That's
burning.
metaphor.
Still putting that mushrooms on the list there.
For those that may have missed it, Michelle recommended mushrooms.
Yes,
Yeah.
from Woolies.
We need to strike this
With
from
chicken
any
and rice.
political aspiration. We'll strike the last
Oh,
step.
right. That's true. That was well said, actually.
I'm joking,
yeah.
I'm joking.
No, but.
No, but I guess what we need to do is get to know you two a bit more. It's in this journey of podcasting. A, how did you get to it? I mean, you've probably touched on that a bit, but I think how did you really decide that you wanted to sit together in a room and talk on a microphone?
Do you want me to go first?
You go first.
I really believe that Nicola and I have often talked about how it's in our DNA more than just, you know, friends and family. It's literally we wake up and if we go on a walk, morning, hi, how are you? Oh, it's so lovely to see you. Like my husband used to walk and he'd say, stop saying hello to people, stop, because it was annoying in a way. I understand that too,
Yeah.
but I can't help it. Nicola's identical, the same molds when it comes to people. We literally are born to love and chat and embrace people. That's who we are and what we are.
That's so true.
So that was a foundation stone
Yeah.
to start with.
To start with that, yeah. So we've always had that, we've acknowledged that, and we've always liked each other's company all the
So
time.
what was that first point of connection? What was the first moment where you looked at the other person and went, oh yeah, I dig this woman?
You know what? We fangirl each other, but as we
we were
said
fans.
before too,
Have you made out? No.
No. I was married.
The fence
Was I
goes up
married?
a little bit there, you know.
Yeah, the fence. Yeah. Was I married? married at the time? I can't remember.
It was funny.
Yeah.
You were in Mykonos on your honeymoon because she got married there.
Right,
But when we
yeah.
met at this dinner, Di sat opposite me, never met before, but we clicked straight away. And I'd moved up
That's
from
right, you
Melbourne.
weren't married,
And then
yeah.
I was just sort of saying, we'll have some champagnes. And 2 days later, I was at your house having more champagnes. And you just know when you have a like-minded sort of friend.
Oh.
And then, but to answer your question with the podcast was sort of something too. I remember I was hiking with my daughter Gabriella in Tassie, and just sort of, and we're listening to podcasts and talking to things. And you're out in nature and you think of things.
Yeah.
And I said to Gabriella, you know what? I think it'd be really good. I'd love to do a podcast, and I'd love to do it with Di. Well, and she's going, "Oh my goodness!" And she's known, all
I've
your
known
life
Nicola.
there,
Yeah.
and she's a journalist too. And straight away, she's writing her notes, going, "Okay, this is it," like the whole
Yeah.
thing. And then I messaged you, and I think you're in the States. Then I said, "What do you think about doing a podcast together?" And she's just going, "I've absolutely,
I couldn't
100%."
speak. I was.
You're
Yeah.
like, sign me up.
And then Di
yeah.
wrote back with this amount of, so
Yeah,
this is my
yeah,
idea. So
yeah.
from that, and so we just sort of started with friends
A
around the
scroll.
kitchen table with our phone there. And when we would like chat with girlfriends, we'd just go, oh,
Yeah.
that was the
Gold.
best hour.
Write that one down, write
And we
that
just
one
wanted to do
down.
more and more
Yeah,
and more of it.
yeah.
And then we just sort of
And
then-
also because I did host a program with MBN3 in Newcastle in
Yes.
those days. And I always in my
What was
heart...
the program?
This Morning with Di Scotts, that's my maiden name. But I always knew that I was going back into media. Didn't know how, didn't know why,
Yeah.
but I knew in my heart that I would go back into it. So, and it wasn't because of that I'm going to it wasn't like that. It was like, wow, surrender, put that to the universe.
yeah. I
And
think
here you
that's
go,
it.
like, look, sitting here right now with a friend that is
Yeah.
like an angel on earth. How lucky am I?
How lucky am I?
No,
You know,
it's ridiculous.
You guys
Yes.
are
So we
very
are-
good
Love
at telling each
bombs.
other. Yeah, you
Yeah.
guys
No, but
love bomb
she's
each other.
unique.
No,
I'm
but
sorry,
so
you know that.
no,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
so is this one too. You are, and that's what no one makes me laugh like you do. No one does,
You guys,
and it's always
you guys
that
crack
way.
each other every time
Yes, we
I'm
do. We
in
laugh.
a room with you two. It's like some conspiracy between the two of you to have the most fun and just be laughing and talk.
We
It's
do.
We
funny.
see, but it's a bit of
Well, look,
naughtiness.
oh, totally.
There's a bit of naughty.
And
Totally.
I think that's the thread.
So we'll
with us.
see the
Yeah.
naughtiness, and I won't even say a word. I'll just do a look with my eyes, and she's onto it,
Yeah.
and then we're like out.
Then I
or
can't
there
look at
or-
Di.
No, or like she'll go, oh no, I'll start laughing or whatever. Sorry, that was an hour answer to.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we want to share the joy with
Yes.
others. Really.
Yeah,
So whoever
yes.
likes to join the ride,
It's
with
true.
us, and
Yeah.
loving the people, like you said,
And up,
bring-
like up
Yeah.
tempo.
and being older, and just sort of thought we're at this stage now, going, let's do it.
Yeah,
Whereas
absolutely.
a lot of
Yeah.
people were saying, you probably, in your 50s and
Yeah.
60s,
Yeah.
the door's shut. It's
Yeah, you're
like
a bit
just
old
starting now.
to do that. Why would you do that
Well,
now at your age?
I mean, there's no such thing as age anymore.
No.
I mean,
we don't
gosh,
believe
I mean,
that. No.
50 is the new
Yeah.
do you know what age stands for? A
What?
for awesome.
Yeah.
How do you spell age? G for gorgeous.
Yeah.
And E for how exciting.
You-
Seriously.
So true.
That is what age means.
But I think,
really.
when we think about age, we have this whole thing about how we've lost the ability to understand that the older you get, the more profound and life gets and and how you can view it from a specific lens that that maybe you might want to be around an older person because they might have a pearl of wisdom. We get so focused as society on what the young people are doing and the selfies and how we look and stuff like that I think we forget that there's a real reverence in aging.
You just nailed it.
Yeah.
You nailed it. Yeah.
It's been
Yeah.
a bit more superficial.
Yeah.
You see now through social media, the younger kids.
Yeah.
The wisdom and the storytelling comes, as I say, every line on the face
Yeah.
tells a story.
Yeah, well, that's
You
why
know?
I got a fringe to kind of so I won't have to get Botox
Drink the
in the
dog.
forehead.
Yeah.
Drink the joy. That'll help this.
So you guys you clearly have like a really light relationship, but tell me a bit about a moment where there was something really hard happened and the other was there for you.
There's been so many. It's funny because we've been friends from in our 20s. There's been good times when you came, to my wedding, and that was great in Melbourne. And then the really bad times in life too. And like even when my marriage broke up, and I was really at one stage I was in the fetal position. I was really upset, and and you were there, and I mean,
beyond.
yeah,
And when you
absolutely.
carry it for a friend,
Yeah.
you're carrying it. Like I can almost get emotional thinking about it because I think Nicola is like a light in a lot of people's lives, not just mine. She's a light, and the light went out, and I'm talking about me, how selfishly about your situation, but I'm just saying how I tried to deal with that, and it was I didn't know how to cope with it in a weirdo way because I'm not used to it.
Yeah, I know. It's like I find too specifically.
That's
with
interesting
no,
hearing that. That's
and
interesting.
I agree with that because I find as well in my relationships, because I'm the friend who fixes everything and is the strong one, that when there's a moment of vulnerability, some of my friends don't know how to deal with it because they're like, wait, that's not our role.
Yes,
but
it
it's
can
so
be really
big.
hard.
This was bigger than Ben-Hur because of the way it all came about. So I was hurting for Nicola, then the children, and then the inevitability of it all, and then the whole big picture. And it took a long time for, Nicola, as she's saying, I was in a fetal position, but I wasn't in a fetal position, but I was mentally.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
But you knew that you had to show up for this friend.
And no matter what, you just put that picture back and you're like, right, how are we going to resolve what's going on? And Nicola's was which a little bit like you with the sort of not reacting, responding.
Yeah.
Nicola, once you came out of the fetal position, it was like, because that's Nicola.
Yeah.
Organised, boom, 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 I've got to do this, we're going to do that. And that, I think in a way we all needed her with that direction. That was like, right, up and at 'em. House this, we're going to sell this, we're going to do this. And when I was like, okay, this is where she's going to head. This is good. This is healthy.
And do you still talk to that ex-partner? Is he in your life?
Only at golf.
No, we just see each other at golf.
He's usually behind her in front of us.
Exactly, and there's not much spoken, but saying that there'll be I'll wave, and if there was the occasion that if the children had said to me, the adult children now, we want to get together with Dad and have a thing there, I would absolutely be open to it. So it's not like that, and different things there that have happened there, I have just let things go, because it's pointless that way. So it's not like it doesn't serve me. So it's not like when I see him that it's just sort of like there's the hate there or something. If, in fact, it would be sort of like a bit of a wave. It's not always sort of reciprocated, but I've had to, I don't get the warmth back, but that's life, but I've moved on from that, and to be honest, I just wish him all the best, and just and for my kids, so it's been a big thing.
Takes a little bit of time, but
so
she's in the
I
most
don't know
beautiful
how
place.
deep you want to go into it, but clearly something hard really happened. How important was that for you to kind of get up and keep going for your children? And did you make a decision because I think when bad stuff happens to us as parents, it's hard not to let that bleed into the way you raise your child.
It's a very good question.
That's true. That's very true. I was in this different situation. My kids were adults by this stage, so they were adults. So in one way, they were nearly. Tables turned, they start to look after me, which I did not expect at all. But that was sort of a thing there. But of course, yes, you're seeing them suffer still, and their family home had to be sold and all that stuff, which was a huge thing. And I didn't expect that at the time.
Washes over everyone.
But it was just, I think it was also, of course, for the children, but to be honest, it was for my inner self, that self-respect, that self-drive there that sort of came within. I had to have that time of grieving, of dealing of what had helped with me, going, wow, maybe my life as I thought I knew it really wasn't that way. But then I just thought, well, okay, I had, I got a lot of joys out of having, we had some great times in the marriage at the start, two incredible kids there. And you know what? I'm young. And that has severed. Yeah. But I'm now going to be sort of like, part two of Nicola's new life.
Yes.
And I'll tell you what, I've never looked back. And I think sometimes when it's a big dramatic thing that happens, it was good. It was just like that. And then I had 3 years on my own, or sort of as in being single, and that was
having fun.
Yeah, and that was so good. That was really good for me.
Out there
Before I met Richard, it was really important. Sort of as it turned out, it wasn't intentionally done that way.
Yeah.
But I had 3 years as a single older woman, and I tell you what, that's damn good.
You were still flying too, weren't you? She was lucky for a living, so she was lucky she could get on the plane, go away, and have some fun and come back.
You literally
so she could
were still
escape.
living.
And used to think that was fabulous.
Yeah.
And also, because there's nothing worse when you're going through something really hard, sitting in your sadness,
No, and
like
I had
being
so
in
many
the
friends
same.
around
Absolutely.
me.
Yeah,
And they were
environment.
like,
Yeah.
Nicola, you
Yeah.
know, and then I'd go
Yeah.
away on trips and I had wing
And
girlfriends and
Yes.
they'd go, woo,
Yeah,
about
yeah,
time you
yeah.
get out and about and
Yeah.
that sort of stuff. So
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
was great. That
Yeah.
was really good.
But there's also something about your job as well.
Oh, totally.
You
Yeah.
have to kind of put on this facade.
Totally.
You cannot.
Yeah.
You cannot.
Chicken or beef? Oh,
No,
I'm fabulous.
I know. You're like,
Yes.
oh,
Was that a vodka tonic?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, sure. I hate you. Sticking things in my eyes.
How
Like,
many
yeah.
forks in the eye? I love that.
Oh my god!
So
like
funny.
I did hospitality for
Yeah.
so long, and it can really wear you down.
Yeah.
It can, but
Yeah,
it's like, you know,
yeah.
we have the same thing too. We turn it into a bit of a game. And I used to
Right.
do that with flying too, because you'd get someone who was the
Yeah, you
most
see it.
challenging
Yeah.
customer on board. And I'd sort of think, okay, let's see if I can win this one over.
I know.
Yeah. And then
totally.
sometimes, and then I'd go, no, that's it, I give
No,
up.
I've
you know.
given enough. I'm
No
over
more
it.
drinks, no more
That's
body,
enough.
no more.
So
you know.
for you,
But,
Di,
but-
what about that? What was that moment that, like, what was one of the hardest moments where Nicola really showed up for you?
Oh, well, never really left my side because mine was like an unusual one in a weirdo way. It was, maybe it had been happening for years and I wasn't acknowledging it and not bring it to the fore.
Yeah.
And just, it was more, no one entered into our relationship. There was no other person. It was more about just us as people. And Dave, you know, my partner had changed a lot, and no doubt I had too. You get older.
Yeah,
and
you do.
Oh, 35 years together.
Yeah,
that's
that's
a
a long
lifetime.
time.
So, look, I'll love Dave to the day I die, my husband, my ex-husband. But ironically, through all of this, I gained more of a love of myself.
Yeah.
Because coming from a big family with so many, the dynamics of so many people growing up, there was always 1,000 people in the house.
Well, yeah, because you're like one of 8.
Yeah.
That's insane.
So there's a million people always
Irish?
there. No, but
Irish
definitely Catholic.
Irish or Catholic,
Yeah. But like even when, you know, at school and then I'd always have 1,000 people over, Mum would go, I thought you were bringing 2 people. There's 200 people for coffee or whatever. So I've always had people and then always lived with people.
Yeah.
And when I travelled, I was always living with people, travel. And for the first time in my life, when my husband moved out, I went, oh, me, myself, and I. Hello. Hello, tap, hello, Di, you know. So the remarkable thing about it all, it's been the greatest gift that I've ever, I was going to say given to myself, but it's washed over me.
Yeah.
Because I've actually learned that it's okay just to be by me, myself, and I. And
That's
I got
important.
into like Nick, I got into meditation, and you know, and I mean, I've always been in walks in nature, but it was more like, wow,
And just sort of saying that as a girlfriend, seeing you go through that. And, you know, I think because you're this couple that was together for 35 years and in the area and both well known, everyone sort of couldn't really believe it with, oh, look,
No.
there's just going to be a little split for
Yeah,
a while and
yeah.
they'll be
Oh,
back
really?
for
That's
sure.
actually
Oh,
true.
very
That's
much so.
hilarious.
And whether you subconsciously thought that or whatever.
People thought it was a joke.
But everyone thought it was
Really?
like that, yes.
because
yeah.
we have a
Like they
business
could-
in the
And
area
then as
too.
it turned out then, you know, and I think for you, Diane, that's so true. You've now, it's like this self-discovery, but you also went into that period, which I think everybody, to get out of that period, you have to sit in it for a while.
Yes.
And it was that period of sadness, a bit of confusion of
Yeah.
what the hell
the
happened.
Big dipper.
You know,
up,
yeah.
down, up,
And
down.
neither one of
emotions.
us, I suppose everyone, you enter a marriage and you sort of think it's going
Forever.
to be forever.
Yeah.
But I think when you've been in it for decades, you kind of think it is.
Yeah,
'Cause,
well,
you know,
I'm loyal to fault, and that,
Yeah,
and I really
but
mean that
it's-
literally.
It's interesting because I wonder how many people who've been in marriages for a very long time actually, if they sat and thought about it, would think that this is a healthy situation to still be in. Sometimes you need to leave a situation to realize that you weren't actually really happy. You're just going through the motions.
that's so true.
Because
Yeah.
you become just reliant on that person, but like you really
Yeah.
you're not being intimate with that person anymore. You're not really wanting to talk to them that much. It's hard work. Like even we have to have moments where we sit down and have honest conversations.
Yes,
and
it's
you have to have-
essential.
it's essential, and I think
Yeah.
that's why couples therapy is imperative. But I do think there's a real bravery around ending a really long marriage.
Well, bravery. It's as I said, I'll love him till I die. Because I mean, he's the
But
father
there's
of
now,
my
but
children.
I think that's true. But
Yeah.
now there's going to be room for somebody else.
Oh,
'Cause, you know,
100%.
It's not
No,
like, you know, so
absolutely.
and that's
excitement
taken
around
me
that.
years to come to terms with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I honestly say 2023, bring it on.
there a moment from your younger years, that a specific moment that kind of helped shape the way you kind of view life today?
When I was in grade 6 and we won the state netball team and I was
Yeah.
captain, that was a really great thing. And the best thing was, I remember the principal, brought us all into the office and he said, congratulations. And my dad was an AFL football player and he was like so proud, and we were like, yeah,
Was he
it
well
great.
known at AFL?
He was. He played in 2 premierships, Allendale for the Bombers. So
okay,
the daughter
there
of
we
an
go.
AFL footy
AFL
star.
royalty, yep.
Yeah.
This will be Hello Sport now.
Yes,
I know.
hello sport, yeah. But it was funny when the principal said, congratulations, and the good news is you're going on Hey Hey, it's Saturday. And here I was in grade 6 and there was Daryl Summers and Aussie Austrian. And it was the most exciting thing in the world from there. And I remember then thinking, I want to play for Australia. And then then I went to school, then high school, and then I was really always sort of sporty. And then how at 15, I went as an exchange student to the States. And that's when I went to this positive thinking rally. And I came back and I think that really changed me. I was 12 months away from home, which is young when you're 15 and there's no sort of internet or anything, it was, writing the letters there. But it gave me that sort of inner strength that no matter what, you can sort of have that sort of resilience there.
Yeah.
And that gave me that spark of love of when my American mum took me to this positive thinking rally.
Yeah, isn't that
in
incredible?
1979.
Yeah. It was a pivotal moment
Yeah,
for
and it really
Nicola.
was. And
Yeah.
from there on, it was as simple of going,
She's never stopped
you can
since.
wake up, it's up to you
I hate that
really.
meal. Oh, it's beautiful.
It's
Look
as
at the
simple
green.
as
I'm the negative person.
Yeah, it's
Like,
as simple as a mind shift.
Yeah.
And remember, there's a
Yeah, right.
15-year-old girl going, you can say that's terrible, or you can say it's great, and it's not being fake either.
Yeah.
It's actually just your mindset there, and that was just sort of put me genuinely on that path of trying to live life the best that I can. And then I've always seeked out inspirational people. And I think that was from sort of having the confidence from when you win something at school or you get some acknowledgement, and then having the courage to go as an exchange student and leave your parents at 15. And I thank my mum and dad for letting me go.
incredible. Yeah.
And I was
Particularly your mum.
a very
Your only
loved,
daughter. That's
very
huge.
loved and looked after, girl.
But is there an exhaustion around being that optimistic? Do you sometimes not hit the wall and go, I got nothing more?
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
she
totally,
does.
totally.
Oh, yeah,
And
she does.
And I take time
And I
out.
know when she
Yeah.
goes to her apartment,
100%.
she does close the door.
I need time.
and I know, don't ring her.
Yeah.
Don't even do it. She's building.
I need to sit
her
with
battery,
myself.
Her battery pack.
Yeah.
Recharge.
No,
And that's healthy.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
good balance.
And my mum was always, because she was used to sort of say that, toxic positivity, or Nicola, you're too positive, or something
Yeah.
like that. She'd say,
But you can't help it. It's truly you.
But
You don't
I
put that on.
do
It's
have to.
you.
That is,
Yeah.
But I do
But she
sit
does.
in my own space, and if
Yeah.
there's a lot going on, and I
Yeah.
love a lot going on,
She'll
then
step
I have
out.
to go. Like even the other day, I just said there's a lot going
See
on,
ya.
and I said I'm going to Palm Beach for the night, and I just
Yeah.
took off, and,
Yeah.
and Gabrielle said, "Why are you doing that?" I said, "I
Yeah.
just need to do
Just
a few
need to
things."
do it.
Well, that kind of makes sense as well. Like when you talk about when she was going through her separation, and you were like, what you could see that you were worried for her
Yes.
because you're so used
It
to her.
wasn't-
But
Yes.
that
it
kind of
wasn't-
makes sense now.
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah.
And what about for
You.
you, Di? Is
I
there a
think-
moment?
I think the main vein that runs through me from childhood starts from the night I was born in a little country town called Nowra. Back then it was very tiny.
Nowra.
And
Nowra.
the 3 kids are born, the other 5 were born in Sydney. But I remember Mum saying that the night I was born, that the doctor walked in and she said he was so handsome, and he had a bow tie. He was in a black tie. He'd been to some dinner thing, and when I was born, she turned to him and said, "This will be the one that will love people and will be the party girl." That was the night I was born. Mum said
Wow.
that, spoke those words to the
Never a truer word
obstetrician.
said.
I know.
And really, I do think that I align with Mum, because I watch Mum, even though she had 8 children and cooked all the meals, those are the days, and did all that, whatever. She'd always the lipstick on, the hair fabulous, and go out with the girlfriends, because Mum was like you. Mum was an only child, and party and lunches and whatever. And I watched her, and it used to make her so happy. And I'm very similar like that. And also, as Nicola knows, because she's like another sister, we have 9 with Nicola. There's so much laughter and life and excitement and joy and fun in growing up.
Yep.
It's like I swallowed it all down, and
Yeah.
it's there, and I seek it out.
Yeah.
now. I seek it out. And hence there's Nicola, like, with cheeky, like, ooh, where's the fun?
Like magnets attract
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
And we're lucky because
yeah.
we were saying we've got lots of other friends
Oh,
as
totally.
well, which is
Yeah.
sort of
We
part
have
of
a
our
huge
secret.
circle of
Yeah.
friends.
But we still always have this
no,
little thing
it's
there.
just a look.
Yeah. We just
No
I've
words.
been in the pool
Yeah.
with you guys when you get that look.
It's normally
And I'm
trouble.
like-
No, it's normally get another champagne. Without a doubt, it's and also both Nicola and I had very similar fathers where Dad would
Yeah,
go,
we did.
Right.
We were
it's
lucky.
a beautiful day. We wake up every morning
Yeah.
with a great smile and excitement and wake up all the girlies and boys and
You
it's going
can
to be a
do
great
anything.
day.
We both had that. So I had
I've got goosebumps even hearing
Yeah.
those. Like just
and letters,
Yeah.
and Dad used to write to me the number. I was the only daughter, but
Yeah.
my number one and only daughter, and circle it. And he was on a stamp because he was in premiership, whatever.
Yeah.
And then he used to put his own stamp on the thing, and then he used to circle it in case I didn't.
So you had positive affirmations.
I
Totally.
really did.
You can
I
do
did.
it. You can
Yeah.
do
You
it.
can do it.
Grew
So
up
that
with you
the
can do
American
it.
thing there,
Don't
we're
ever
like,
think
yeah,
otherwise.
yeah, yeah.
Our parents were into Dale Carnegie in those
Yeah,
days,
okay.
and it was like never look back.
Because I didn't have that growing up, I kind of it freaks me out because my husband's family are quite
Like that,
like
yes,
they're
yeah.
quite like that,
Yes,
and like
yeah.
Ethan, my husband's like that. The way he parents, he's quite like positive, and he's up
yes,
early
yeah.
and blah blah blah. And I sometimes I look at him, I'm like, why are you smiling?
Yeah.
Why are you so
Get
happy?
over it.
Like he's like, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Like, stop smiling.
How dare you
I
be
know.
so
Stop
happy
being
today.
so fucking happy. Is there something that you're afraid of?
That's an amazing question. Wow.
Maybe I don't,
Too much alcohol at 2:00 in the morning.
I don't like hangovers too much, so I try and
That's a
monitor
great.
that.
Oh, I know what I'm afraid of. Snakes. That's one thing. No.
Stingrays. I hate stingrays too.
I didn't know
I
that.
freak
Really?
out. Freak out.
Because of the
stingrays.
barb.
Really?
Yeah, completely freak out. I remember having a
That's-
thing
Is
with
that
my
because
mum.
Steve Irwin?
Well before
God,
that,
that's
when we went
frightening.
on family holiday to Hayman Island, and I was out with my mum and brother, and I think I was still in primary school there, and we were walking out in the shallows, and all of a sudden there was like about 50 stingrays everywhere, and I did the complete sort of like
That's hilarious.
and my
I think that's so
brother
pretty.
had
I'd
to
pay
piggyback
big
me.
money to see
Same.
that.
Yeah, had to
Same.
piggyback me all the way back, like
That's
that. So
hilarious.
it's like that. But I think sometimes it's hard to believe when you've gone through loss, or whatever, that we're not going to be here forever.
Yeah.
And so I think that thing of living forever, and as you do age, and we're sort of always sort of saying we want to keep on making the most out of life, and hopefully we've got decades and
Yeah.
decades ahead of
Yeah.
us. But there will be that time, when you're not going to be here, and you sort of think, oh gosh, it's just hard to comprehend whether
Yeah.
I'm afraid of it or not. But it's
hadn't
just
even thought about
it's sort of with my mind going, wow, and who knows what's going to happen? How long we've got? A
Yeah.
day or
I think-
so long.
I'm
So that's
afraid that a
something.
loved one might die before
Yeah,
me.
I think-
like
that would be the
fright-
worst.
That.
What
yeah.
about yourself?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah, that's my
Yeah,
biggest fear
yeah,
as well.
yeah.
Mostly because my
Because
dad
I couldn't
died,
deal with it.
but-
Yeah.
yeah.
well,
Have you lost someone close to you? though?
No.
See, that's interesting.
No.
We've
no.
both
8
been-
kids too.
And
Yeah.
we've both been kind of blessed.
Sorry,
that way.
that's not true.
Yeah.
My sister was married to Mark Hunter from Dragon.
Oh.
And he passed away from throat cancer.
That's right.
So yes, and we all adored Mark. So but,
Yeah.
but I think that's it.
Stingray snakes and losing people.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it.
It's interesting that whole thing
Yeah.
about getting older as well. I mean,
Yeah.
I went to the doctor yesterday and got I said, give me a full makeover. I need all the things because I'm worried.
Makeover.
Well,
Right.
no more like bloods and
Yeah.
check everything because I'm worried I'm going to die. I'm like, you reach a certain age and you're like, maybe I'll die.
And how do you feel about aging, though, especially like in your industry too? Do you look at it? How do you look at it?
I'm lucky because I don't look my age. So
No.
You're amazing for 82.
I know.
I know.
Yes.
I
God.
really,
Because
really
how old
played
are you,
well.
Michelle? We can say you're
Come
sort of in your.
on,
Oh,
you
she's
said
somewhere in
that
her
all out.
40s. But
49. I'm 40. If you do the
Wow.
math,
Wow.
I'm 49.
We're both going,
looks-
wow,
I
wow,
know,
because you
yeah.
look about 25. You're
Yeah.
incredible.
But people used to ask me, like, why, what's the secret? And I said, I don't stress about life. I don't carry the weight of the
Wow.
world. Because I think the people who are the victims or they carry, like, it's just going to age you. All of that negativity, like the same, like, you don't look your age. You don't look your age. I think when you always have a smile on your face or you choose to take everything with a grain of salt and just move through it, it's not going to age you.
and
I
it's
think
another
stress
thing,
and
yeah.
worry and
Well, a lot of people say before their death. A girlfriend's sister worked in palliative care, and she said majority of comments are, I wished I didn't spend so much time stressing about
I know.
things.
Don't sweat the small stuff.
And it's the things
What
you
a
didn't
waste
do.
of energy.
Isn't
It
it? The
is.
things you didn't do is the big regrets. And if you do it and you F it up, who cares? So I think
Seriously.
just go for it in
Yeah.
life.
I
100%. Can I finish by asking if you didn't share a back fence with each other, who would you want to? Have you answered this?
We haven't
No.
answered it, have we?
Oh, wow. Oh, I'd be such a dag and have to say Bette Midler. 'Cause I've loved her
She's
forever.
She's a goodie.
Oh,
isn't
she's
she?
the rose
Great.
in my eyes.
Yeah, she's great. She's the wind beneath your wings.
Oh, I was about to sing it.
She'll break
at
into
the
a
road.
song
I
at any
will.
chance, Joe. We'll
Some
love it.
say
We'll
love,
come. Yeah, look, here we go.
it is a river that drowns the tender reed. Some say anyway. So yes, I'd go in for another hour, wouldn't I? Nick would be going, but yeah, but why? Because she
Yep.
is strong.
Yep.
Survived Hollywood in every sense of the word, music
Yeah.
and film, theatre, film industry, and love every song she's ever done. She's bolshy and out
Yep.
there and fun and has a good laugh and always spoken what she feels, doesn't hold back. And yeah, I've always admired her. I'd love to have her there. Nicola would have fun.
Yeah, absolutely. 'Cause we're going to share that.
Yeah. So what about you?
I think a combination of a few people.
Yep.
Jane Fonda, because
Oh,
I
I
just
love
think
Jane
she
Fonda.
She's
kicks
great.
ass, and I just
great,
love her. And here she
great.
is
And
in
an
her
Aries.
80s. And she's an Aries, and Aries always get along well too. And I've always been an Oprah fan since
yeah. We
1986.
love.
I saw
She's
her
great.
before
We're
people saw
sick
that,
of
and I've met her a few times, and I've followed her, so that's been great. So Oprah. And I think I'm going to throw in my grandmother, Dorothy, because that was
Mum's
my
mum.
mum's mum.
Yep.
And I'm particularly like her, I think.
Yep.
And I don't think she had the opportunities
have
that
met
I've
her.
had. And we were really close. Mum used to always say, you come from a strong line of women. And I just adored her. And I do like to bake cakes. It's the one thing. I'm not a big cook, but I like to
She
bake
makes
cakes. And she was
kangaroo
like,
hops.
yes. And cakes. and
Every
whatever,
kid's
yes.
party, every function, every cocktail thing.
So I
whatever
think the
I've had.
three strong women would just be fantastic.
How old was Grandma
Yes,
when
yeah.
she passed away?
In the 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my mum, all my family's been in the 70s, so
Yeah.
I have to break the mold.
Yeah, mine.
No,
mine
you don't
is-
have. You
I'm in
will.
90s. It's like
Oh,
crazy.
great.
Oh,
They
wow.
survive. They survive on bitterness.
Wow, yes. Yeah.
Did you hear that?
They do. Oh my, yeah. If you
That
met,
goes
if you met my
against the grain of
grandmother,
everything we've said.
I know, but if you met my
and they've got
grandmother,
longevity.
she wasn't going to die because how dare
Oh
they?
right, determined. Yeah.
And then I guess I want to end on the question that you asked me. What would you tell your 20-year-old self?
I think I would say.
I know what yours will be.
Why don't you say it at the same time? No.
No, I actually know.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Mine
Let's see
would,
if I'm right.
Okay, let's
I'll write it down.
Let's,
Write it-
yeah,
yeah,
write
write
it
it
down.
down. This is a
great
Do a
game.
little thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
write it
write
down.
it down.
How well do you know each other?
I think I'd put my money on Di too. I would say boundaries up more. When I was younger, of not being so much of a people pleaser.
Yeah, I said
Keep always, because I was, even the party girl then, but going here, going there, going there, which I love.
Yeah.
But it was sort of sometimes I'd go like, no, it doesn't. The word no is a good word.
Yeah.
And so that's sort of something at the age of 20
Yeah.
I didn't know so much. And I think it was like the other thing too is sort of like, because you can't think of the future so much. And so when you're older, it's kind of fun to look back on things.
Yeah.
But just sort of they're going, life is all about change.
Yeah.
And so what you think is so important then, it is important at that
Yeah.
time. Your life at 20 is going to be different than it is at 30s.
Yeah.
And then you get, a different buzz when you're 40s, a different buzz when you're in your 50s. And then, then the next, say decade's going to be the most 60s.
Yeah.
And so it just sort of really can keep on getting better.
Yeah. And it does.
Yeah. So that's what I would say.
What's the question again? So it's
What would you tell your 20-year-old
I
self?
got so lost in that. I'm
Let me
like,
see what
I know, I was as
saying.
well.
So-
I was lost in that. Probably you don't have to have so many people around. Get to know yourself a bit more.
Yeah.
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 I think that's
That's a good one.
Yeah,
That's a good
yeah,
one. That's a
yeah.
really
You
good
really
one.
don't have to have that many people around, and also just so inclusive. Be more
Yeah.
inclusive of yourself.
That's
Yes.
great.
Yeah,
So more
yeah.
inclusive of yourself because you
I love hearing
Yeah,
that. And
yeah.
we
Yeah.
were like, that's why we're like
Yes,
twins, because we're
yes.
both the same. We'd have
Yeah.
a party, like have a
Yeah.
million people.
Yeah,
really.
you know it's true.
And
Yeah.
no one could
Yeah.
miss out, whereas now
No,
it's just,
no,
it's just
no one
different.
Yeah.
bloody miss it.
Yes,
Exactly.
yeah.
No
yes. But like
Yeah.
I do feel like that is when you are like that, when you are quite gregarious and like fun-loving and you have lots of friends and stuff like that, you do tend to make it less about yourself.
Yeah, it's true.
Especially as a friend, but like sometimes that's what's missing, because I know there are periods where I'm like, well, I wish my friends would ask and check and see how I'm going. Because I'm the person who's always
you're out, but they think you're fine, you see.
Yeah.
Because
Absolutely.
you're always giving, you're always fab, everything's so they
Absolutely.
you're just fine.
Yeah, and I find that in my age now, that's what I'm struggling with.
Yes.
Is like my expectations on what my friendships should be, because they change as well. Your expectations on friendships change.
But so it's all about putting the expectation on yourself.
Yeah.
And speaking up a bit more for yourself too, isn't it? I think that's come a little bit more with age with us. You know, even though we were always probably quite strong. And we had opinions always the way through. But there are certain times there, and, you know, Di and I have always got that really honest relationship. We're honest with each other. And if something doesn't work, I'll go and like, no, I don't think so. And
she knows I'll tell her.
And Di's a straight shooter.
I am a
straight
shooter.
I'm
as well.
Fuck it.
That's good.
Sorry.
I think honesty is the only way to go.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, that was so much fun.
I could do this for 3 days.
I know, right? But I know you guys, we need to wrap it up. But we never have an opportunity to talk this in depth. So it's been nice.
Are you kidding?
Well, thank you for asking the juicy questions.
I hope you've got to know us, because I know, my God, I got to know you better when we interviewed previous to this.
It's been a two-way transfer.
Yeah,
It's been
I've loved every minute of it.
Loved everything.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, everyone,
Girl
for listening.
power.
Girl power around here. Let us know what you
Yeah.
thought of the tables turn. If you want to hear a bit more about
Yeah.
Di and Nicola, let us know. Otherwise, we'll just keep on inviting guests.
So on that note, that was fun.
That was fun.
Thank you.
you.
I love that. Over and out. Well, guys, we look forward to joining us at the back fence next Monday.
Yes, so tell your friends, rate and review. How many stars do we want, Di?
25, and even though it only says 4.
I think it says 4 or 5 stars. Because really, I'm just learning, but that's really the only way that community grows and spread the word.
Yeah,
so share the potty to friends, and
that's what it's all about.
and thank you for listening.
I look forward to chatting with you on Monday. Ciao.
Ciao, ciao. Bye-bye.